Hey everybody, I am Haley Gray and I am the group owner and founder here in the Women's Entrepreneur Network. I am a digital marketer by training, which means we fix really broken ass marketing. My guest tonight is Gill Fountain, and she is a dear friend of mine, and we're going to be talking about building profitable business because, well, we need to be talking about this stuff. And if you're on the live, give us a hashtag live. If you're on the replay, give us a hashtag replay. Let us know that you're out there. We're going to be throwing things around tonight, maybe in a way that you haven't seen us do before or seen me do before. I'm not a CPA. I'm just an MBA, but I'm a business owner. And, you know, being profitable is so important to our businesses. And, you know, it used to be that, you know, when I worked in my last job, you know, you go to work, you get a paycheck, you have a certain amount taken out in taxes, and the amount that gets taken out and you actually pay in taxes at the end of the year pretty much depends on how many kids you have and, you know, what your regular tax deductions are. When you're a business owner, you know, how much you end up paying in taxes can pretty much be thrown straight out the window. And this is where you need to talk to a qualified CPA. And you need to understand what being actually profitable and doing all those things means to your business and keeping track of your numbers and understanding your numbers. Because one of the cool things about being an entrepreneur is that we are in control of it. Think of it this way, you know, people who work in corporate jobs, you know, are paying 25 to 35 or 30, 40% in taxes. We as entrepreneurs get to control how much we're paying in taxes.
Yeah.
And your Amazons of the world are not paying anything in taxes. So how do you become more like them? How do you become profitable? How do you have those revenue streams? And how do you work your numbers so that you are, you know, taking the proper deductions and educating yourself? So that's what we're talking about tonight. And hey, Patty, good to see you.
Hey, Patty. Hi, good to see you.
So y'all don't take anything I'm giving you tonight as tax advice. I am not a CPA. I am not a legal tax preparer. I am just an MBA, and we're just going to be talking about strategy tonight. And it is almost November. It's the end of October, which means that if you are concerned about what your tax bills are going to look like for next year, I'm going to do a plug for one of my dear friends. Now is the time to go talk to your favorite CPA, because now is the time that you can decide about expenses that you're going to incur this year, when you're going to incur those expenses, how you're going to incur those expenses, how you're going to write off certain pieces of income in your business. You know, do you need to buy new computers for your business? Do you need to do certain things in your business? Now is the time to be having those conversations with your CPA, because this is about more money in your pocket. And we're going to add Gill right back in because apparently Gill got bumped.
Haven't had that one before.
I love technology. So let's talk about business. Let's talk about profit. So how do we define profit in business, Gill?
Well, how do we define profit in business? We have to take away all of those expenses.
Mm-hmm.
And they are surprising expenses, and it's things that we don't take into consideration, like our heating bill. We're all working from home. Most of us, a lot of us have been working from home anyway, but the ones that are working at home for more, they have to think about the heating bill, the increased cost to the household because you are working from home.
The lighting bill.
The lighting bill, the utility.
Your internet.
Yeah, having the utilities, your software that you're using because you can't go to work to use them, can't go to your normal office space. It's every single thing down to the stamps, the trip to the post office, I don't know what you do over there, Hayley, but if you go out to post a parcel to go to send off to somebody, it's not only the postage that you're thinking about, it's the packaging, the time that you're taking out of the office, the actual petrol, the fuel that you use to get to the post office. It's those type of things that you have to take into consideration, not only the things that you are paying out for, but it's factoring in your time as well. And it's the time side of things that I think a lot of people forget.
Absolutely. And I'm posting a link that we're doing right now. We're talking about the profitable marketeer. And we're talking about building a profitable marketing business. And, one of the things that I think a lot of times we do to ourselves too in business, I was talking about getting out of your own way last night. But one of the ways that we really kill our profitability in our businesses is tons of software or not enough software.
Or the wrong software.
The wrong software at the wrong time.
Yeah. As your business is growing, your software is no longer of any use to you, but you keep it on because you actually have got used to it.
Mm-hmm.
It's not doing you any favors at that point.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, I've seen digital marketers do this a lot, and it's kind of painful to see where, has anybody ever suffered here from shiny object syndrome? Right. Yeah. We have lots of cool toys that get directed to us for all the marketing toys and all the new like Adobe things and all the new software things and all the new, everything things, plugins for our website, the latest and greatest SEO tools, upgrades to our Google accounts. It adds up to hundreds to thousands of dollars a month.
Yeah.
It can kill your business.
And sometimes you take on software that you think you're going to use and you've paid for it and you never use it.
Oh yeah. Hey, I'm going to save myself money while I'm trying out this software. Oh, but look at how much cheaper it is to get the 1-year subscription.
Yeah.
Ouch.
Yes.
I've done that.
I've done it. And then realized halfway through, or not even halfway through, probably about 1 month in, that I didn't need it. Or
One of mine was DocuSign. I couldn't get it to integrate properly with my Entreport system, and it was just being difficult.
Yeah. No, they were always going to offer you that package, aren't they? So what I do is I usually trial it out a couple of months before I go into the package. And I'm actually more than likely they're going to offer you the annual rate ongoingly. It's not a fixed period. If you don't do it in 30 days, you're not going to get the annual rate. That's not the way it works quite often. You can trial it out for a few months, see whether you're going to use it or not. And then if you decide you are going to use it and it's going to be valuable to you, then go in and ask for the annual rate. And they invariably say yes.
Well, and the other thing too is that don't forget that you can negotiate your pricing for a lot of your software. Almost every single social media or software platform out there, if you're using it for your business. Now, I'm not talking the $10 a month stuff or the $5 a month, the little stuff. You're probably not going to get too big of a discount there. But the stuff that's more expensive, you might find that you actually can negotiate a pretty substantial discount on.
Yeah. Yes. It is a minefield, though, isn't it, out there with the amount of options that there are? Because I've put into the group a few times, what sort of software do you use?
Oh my gosh, it's crazy.
Oh my word, it's crazy. Stuff I've never even heard of. And what is the best one to choose?
It depends. I think it's, one of the things that I learned at Duke, getting my MBA, y'all are going to laugh. I think I may have paid a lot of money for this one, is that it just depends. Everything in business it depends.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. What's the right software? Depends. What are you trying to do with it? People will ask all the time here in Women's Entrepreneur Network, what is the best software for my CRM? It depends. What are you trying to do? Are you trying to send out contracts? Are you trying to set up workflows? Are you trying to set up task lists? Are you trying to set up payments? What are you trying to do with your process?
Yeah. And there's plenty of comparison sites now as well, isn't there, where you can look down all the features and see. But even then, you can still get into a piece of software that you just don't get on with. It doesn't fit your workflow. It doesn't suit you either. And you realize that you need to just move on and get to the next one. But at least we've got choices. Going back to our conversation earlier about
lots of choices.
As a business owner, we've got plenty of choices still.
Well, and then the other thing too is not only is software pricing negotiable, but one of the things I've seen a lot of really new business owners do, and Jenny Wright even talks about this, how she had the sales rep from Infusionsoft who was hot and heavy in their pursuit of her for a long time. And Infusionsoft is a really great piece of software. But your average newbie business owner probably doesn't need the $500 a month software. Anybody that says you just need to get 3 clients to cover the cost of this, or 1 client or whatever to cover the cost of this, whether it's advertising, I have heard that more times with advertising as, well, if you just get 1 client per month, would it be worth it? The answer is run like your hair is freaking on fire.
They are persistent.
They are. They really are.
And I've got a friend who was started with Infusionsoft right at the very beginning. So she's learned as they've grown, and she loves it. Absolutely loves it.
It doesn't mean that it's the wrong software for everybody. I think you have to decide what software packages you need and getting the right size software package for where your business is at a particular point in time.
Yeah. And for those people whose business grows, you get some businesses and they just take off. And I think that's the scary bit. It's when your business grows so quickly, you haven't got those processes and you're scrabbling around trying to get processes in place, because your processes are actually holding you down. They're slowing you down. You've got the customer base, you've got the people willing to pay you, but you haven't got the processes in place to be able to support it all. Goes back to those, how many hours in a day can we actually work?
Well, and how many hours a day do you have brain function for? Like actual brain function? Because there's a difference I found in the number of hours I can work a day versus the number of hours I can be creative in a day.
Yeah.
Those are 2 very different numbers.
Yeah, they are.
So if I'm doing website designs, it's a very different number than if, in creating brand new graphics for people and putting together ad campaigns for people, versus I'm, doing simple admin tasks here in Women's Entrepreneur Network. Oh, look, I'm letting people into the group. I've done it about 30 bajillion times, and I really don't have to think about it.
No.
But yeah.
The creative stuff, we don't ever, we are not good at this. We do not build enough time into our quotes for the thinking time. It's something we're very conscious of. And we can spend hours just trying to get it right for the client, and we haven't billed them for those hours. We're really missing out here. It's a failure of ours. But people don't understand the amount of thinking time that you need to be creative.
Yeah.
It doesn't always come to you, does it? We can take 1 client and we'll read up the process. We've onboarded them. We've done everything, and we've just got it. We know exactly what we're doing, and it's there, and we can have another client and we can agonize over it for days.
Or weeks.
Yeah. Yes.
And sometimes, creative stuff doesn't always flow. I have found, when I have to write articles and stuff or I'm writing things, it doesn't always flow. I mean, I was working on my own website this weekend, and I'm not going to share the URL yet because it's not quite ready for prime time. But, even though I was writing relatively small amounts of copy, what I found is that it took me a long time to get the right terminology, the right vibe, the right energy in the words. And you have to sit with it in order to let it come.
Mm. Yeah, I know a few storytellers, and I don't actually know how they manage to do the to do it. I just don't. It's a skill.
It truly is a skill.
It is absolutely, it's a skill.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I tell some stories, but not as many as I could.
I can tell stories, but I haven't got the flair that they've got, the way with words that they've got.
Right?
Marvelous.
Yeah. So what else do you think about building a profitable business is important for business owners to know?
Well, really getting clients that will, how do I put this? You're always wanting your ideal clients. We want clients that are a pleasure to work with, because
you want the right plan.
Their business better that way. Yeah.
Well, and one of the things too, to bring it to that point is, and I see this a lot with digital marketers, but I see it with other people too, because they're desperate to make money. So one of the things I will tell you, if you are at that point in your business or in your life where you are desperate to make money, now is a really good time for you to invest or investigate the wonders of Instacart, Shipt, whatever, Uber driving, whatever your poison for a gig type of job is. Work a small number of hours a week, pay your bills, get that stuff taken care of.
Yeah.
Before you start really focusing on your business. Because what happens a lot of times is, if we're not making enough money, and believe me, I've been slapped around the head and shoulders for this. Some of y'all probably heard some of my story last night, but I've hit rock bottom and kept digging because I'm not smart enough to stop when I hit rock bottom. So I just pull out the dynamite and I keep going. But what I learned was that people can smell desperation and they will run like the hills from you. And if you're not meeting your basic needs with your business, if you're not at a point yet where you can make those basic needs met, now is a really good time to investigate those gigs, cover your needs, and then start working on the business on the side. Is it easy? Oh, hell no. Let me tell you about, when I was at my lowest, and I was, I would have $2,000 or $3,000 or $4,000 in billables out, and I was waiting to get paid by people. And I would go out and I would drive Uber late at night after I did everything in my business for the day. After I put the kids in bed, I would go out and I would go drive for 3, 4, 5, 6 hours and come home by 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. And I would have made enough money to, get me through the next few days.
Yeah.
And I would drive on weekends and fill up my gas. I would make sure that I had enough for groceries. I would make sure that I had enough for stuff. And some of y'all are probably going, wait, but you're married. Yes, I'm married, but I have a husband who has not been very supportive of my business. And in fact, I, for a long time, was paying for my own groceries. I was paying for a lot of my own stuff. So I had to pay for my own car repairs. I was paying for a lot of things. And in order to make sure that I had that income and that I had pocket money and that I had a roof over my head and I had medical insurance, but I didn't even have money for deductibles. I didn't have money for, basic stuff. So, I would go out and I would go drive Uber. in between to make sure that I had enough money to get me through the next week or two. And there's absolutely no shame in doing that.
When I started years and years ago, I started 30 years ago, decided that I was going to run my own business. It was a difficult time. I was by myself with the two children, and they were under 3-year-olds, two under 3-year-olds. I had 5 part-time jobs as I went into my business, and I grew my business. And as my business grew, I dropped a job, and it took me, I think it was 5 or 6 years before I finally finished the last job. And I concentrated totally on my business because I needed to have that money to feed the children and pay my bills. I didn't have the backup from anybody. Quite similar to many people, in actual fact. But I knew that I wanted to run my own business, and I knew that the business that I was running would give me the way I wanted, excuse me, the way that I wanted to live with the children.
Yeah.
And that goes back to your why, doesn't it?
It does.
How much you will do to achieve the reason that you started it in the first place, and how determined you can be when you've hit upon something that you really love to do and it fits in well with everyone else as well.
Absolutely. And how much, you know, heaven and earth you're going to move in order to make it happen.
Yeah. And there is that feeling. I don't know whether you got this, Hayley, but I don't know whether this is something that somebody else gets as well, but there is some sort of sense of urgency that comes over you where you just know that you're going to do absolutely everything to make that particular thing work.
Absolutely.
And then it works, and I think this happens with at all different stages of your business, in actual fact.
Sure.
It's not just something that you start as when you start a business, because let's face it, I was saying, when you start, the first 3 years of your business is incredibly hard. And I couldn't fathom out whether it was because it is hard because we're learning so much, but is it because after the 3 years, we've sort of got used to tackling the challenges that come our way, because they're whopping great big challenges. Have we just got it so that we can accept that this is going to be a bumpy ride?
Right. No, exactly. And I mean, I think that is part of it. I mean, I noticed, you know, this in my business, but I also noticed it at Duke. The first 2 terms are the hardest. Like the first term for me was 2 classes, and then the second term was financial accounting, macroeconomics, and statistics, all at the same time, taught in a 9-week period. And it was brutal. And just to put it mildly, because all the classes are being taught at a graduate level. And what the faculty basically told us is, when you survive the second term, you know that everything else is downhill from there.
Yeah.
And I think that there is a point, it's almost like the frog in the boiling water in the pot. If you took the frog and you dropped it in to boiling water, it would just jump out.
Yeah.
And I felt like that freaking frog. And I didn't have the sense to jump out of the freaking pot. And apparently I have a tendency to not jump out of the damn pot. So, you know, it's a thing like in business where I think you get used to a certain level of chaos and managing things and pushing hard on things. And it's that certain like entrepreneurial spirit, like your brain works totally different than working in a job. I mean, I've realized that in a lot of ways I'm unemployable after dealing with all the crap with my daughter. And it's not that I work less. It's not that I work less hard. It's just I work differently.
Yeah. And that does come with, if you've been in business any length of time, I think you do become unemployable. And there have been times where we've looked at each other here and gone, shall we just go and do this? and they wouldn't have us. We wouldn't manage a week. We would not last a week. We'd get sacked if they employed us in the first place. And I do remember a couple of years.
Well, it's only what, 2:30 in the morning?
Yeah, what's the time? It's 2:45 here.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But I went for a job. I decided to do exactly what you said. I was going to go for a job just to make sure that I had some money to pay a whopping great big bill that was coming my way. And I woke up in the middle of the night. Hey, here we are. And I applied for a job, got the interview for the next morning. And before Chris had actually got out of bed, I was saying to him, oh, by the way, I'm going for a job this morning. I'll be back later. And I went in to get this job in, a realtor.
Mm-hmm.
And he stopped me about half an hour into this interview, and he said, I don't think I've ever had an interview like this. And I said, well, what do you mean? And he said, I don't feel as if I'm the person that's doing the interviewing. And I said, oh, I'm really sorry. I'm just used to doing my own thing. And I said, so have I got the job or not? And he said, if you want the job, you can have the job. If you want to do part-time, full-time, whatever you want, just tell me and I'll go with it. And I said, well, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll come in next week and I'll do a day. And if I get through the day, I'll come back the next week. But if I don't get through the day, I'm just going to leave. Is that all right? And he went, yeah, that's okay. And that's how we went. We got on. I did that for about a year. I loved it. It was only part-time, but we were selling a huge amount of houses I used to work at the weekends, and we would sell. It was amazing how much they made a lot of money out of. There was two of us that worked as a good team, but both of us were business owners. So we knew how to sell. We knew how to work with numbers and also different types of people. Because let's face it, if you are running your own business, you are working with a tremendous amount of variety of personalities there.
And expectation levels.
Exactly.
All the unwritten expectation levels that people have.
Yeah. Yeah. So I did it for a year, and then I got to the point that I stood for about 2 weekends and I thought, I don't like this any longer. And I just went in and said, I'm not coming back next week. And he went, okay, Jill, that's okay. And I said, no, I've done my bit. I've got to the point where I don't want to be here any longer, so I'm going to leave. And he went, okay, well, we managed to get a year. Quite well. But I didn't realise that it was totally on my terms.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny, isn't it?
Isn't it, though? But isn't it true that a lot of things that we do are totally on our terms? Once you get to a certain point, you realize, I'm here because I want to be here, or I choose to be here.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm doing this crazy thing today because I chose to do it.
Yes. And it's not because you are being, well, let's face it, you're not being paid your 8-hour payment to do it, are you? You would just do it because you want to do it. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, no, and it's always been amusing to me because one of the realizations that I recently had in my business is that, if you think you can, or if you think you can't, you're absolutely right. And, conversely, one of the realizations is, if I need to make X amount of dollars, I'm completely in control of making X amount of dollars. I just have to choose to do it and go do what I need to do to get out of my way to make it happen.
Yeah.
And that's a whole lot of the fun.
But the realization about that doesn't come instantly, does it? Mm-mm. It takes time. It's not something that you are aware of when you first decide that you're going to start a business.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Fascinating topic here.
Yeah. I didn't know that was going to happen. We didn't plan this at all, did we?
No, we didn't. We were like, what are we talking about tonight? Got no clue. Okay, so I'm going to play. I'm going to pull out my cards.
Oh, good.
Oh, goody.
Yeah.
So you have to tell me which one you want me to pull. I'm pretty sure Meg wants the 7th from the top.
Oh, right.
She always wants the 7th
With
from the
us,
top.
because I can't see who's with us tonight.
If you look under comments, you can see who's commented.
Yeah.
Meg commented and said she's live on your far right of your StreamYard.
Oh, for goodness sake. Thanks for that. I forgot that was there. I really must get the hang of this.
It's okay. We've only done this twice today.
Yeah, exactly. Hi, Meg.
Hey, Meg. So which one do you want, Jill?
I'm going to go for what was the option?
Anything you want.
Oh, right. 3rd from the bottom.
1, 2, 3. Ooh. It's really fun when you pull them for different people because you get totally different outcomes.
Okay. What?
Hang on. I'm going to do it like this so you can see it a little better. It says, Bright Destiny. Okay. It's okay to feel unclear or even confused about what is happening in your life or within you at this time. It's like that because you are going through soul growth. Things will become clear in time. For now, however, let the process happen. Fear can make us try to force something that isn't quite ready yet. Don't try to impose a meaning, take action, or understand it all prematurely. Don't think too hard. When it is time for you to act, you will know it. It's okay to relax and trust that the moment of clarity will come when the time is right.
Wow.
Okay, so she says 14th from the bottom, cat. Okay, so that's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. And another one of those that I never see. And I think that y'all who watch me do this will tell you that y'all never see this one. Mermaid Soul. This one is for you, Kat. Deep within, you know what excites you and inspires you. Your job isn't to decide whether that inspiration is practical, realistic, or even possible. Human beings have been shown throughout history that the ideas which they once scoffed at as being ridiculous or impossible to achieve can become the realities that they rely upon and take for granted as a natural part of their daily lives not long afterwards. You too shall move from doubt to wondering how you ever lived without this passion, idea, or inspiration of yours. Let the universe show off its creative flair for the unexpected and inspirational through you. Do not give up on what truly moves and inspires your heart, for soon enough, it will be part of your world. Yep, that is totally a new one, isn't it, Meg? Okay, so this one is top for Patty. And it is Priority of Purpose.
Oh.
See, that's a new one too. You are a dreamer, but you are also meant to be a doer. It's the right time to cast off some of the demands on your time and attention that are keeping you from pursuing your true purpose. If you have many dreams, that's fine, but it is wise to focus on what you can do now. Allow your other dreams to percolate in the background for a while. When it's time to attend to them, you'll know. For now, do what you can and don't be afraid to make a sacrifice or two along the way. Those sacrifices will be repaid in more ways than you currently know. You won't lose anything by dropping the distractions and going for it. Okay. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Just because we know, we can prove that there really are 44 cards in the deck. Yeah, this one is for you, Meg. It is Gypsy. Okay. You are encouraged to say yes to new opportunities and adventures, ideas, and connections, especially the ones that fill your heart with a sense of excitement, perhaps just before your mind begins to dwell on doubts and concerns, trying to talk you out of something before you even give it a chance. You can handle the unfamiliar better than most. Once you get your bearings, you'll find a way to thrive, to enjoy what you discover and experience. Let the yearning of your soul to explore the new and exciting inspire you. The unfamiliar and the unknown hold great blessings for you. Open yourself up to new horizons. So there we go.
Wow, that's good.
That's fun, huh?
Yeah, it makes you
That's
think.
the theme for Meg here and Patty. It's interesting how you get, people and you can pull cards for the same person and you keep getting like a certain like set of themes. Oh, and Meg says, I've had her before, right before life got nuts. Well, I have to tell you.
Well, what can we say?
Brace yourself, darling. Very cool. Well, thank you, Jill, for joining me tonight. Thank you guys for hanging out with me, doing all these crazy things, talking about the wonderful world that is business. We'll talk soon. Take care.
Thank you. Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye.
Take care.